Did you know that the way you sleep could directly influence memory loss after the age of 60? It might sound surprising, but science supports this idea. Your sleeping position determines how your brain cleans and protects itself while you rest. If this cleaning process doesn't occur properly, toxins start to build up, memory becomes weaker, and the risk of dementia increases. Maybe you've noticed that you sometimes forget names, dates, or where you left your glasses. It might seem like a normal part of aging, but what if part of it is linked to certain hidden factors? By the way, how do you sleep each night? In this video, you'll find out what sleeping position could actually be affecting your memory. And even more importantly, what is the right way to sleep in order to protect your brain and preserve your independence and quality of life? I'll share stories inspired by real people, simple scientific explanations, and practical tips you can start using right away. Get ready to change small habits that could protect your memory, mental health, and even your independence. Let me know in the comments if you usually sleep on your side, on your back, or on your stomach. Before we continue, I'd love to know something to connect with our community. From which city or country are you watching this? Write it in the comments. I really enjoy interacting with people who care about their well-being, and it helps me create more useful and relevant content for you and your region. Ready to begin? Have you ever stopped to think that something as simple as your sleeping position could have a direct impact on your brain? Many people tell me I sleep well, but my memory keeps getting worse. Is it just because of my age? Of course, aging brings natural changes. However, in many cases, the problem isn't just age, but also how the brain is cared for during sleep. During the night, the brain performs a crucial function. It cleans itself, literally. It's as if, at the end of the day, your home started sweeping away all the dirt that accumulated throughout the day. This cleaning process is vital to protect memory, maintain mental clarity, and reduce the risk of conditions such as Alzheimer's. But here's the key. This cleansing doesn't happen the same way in every position. If the head isn't properly positioned, or if the flow of fluid around the brain is restricted, the cleaning system simply doesn't work correctly. Over time, toxins begin to build up. The result? Memory starts to fail. Forgetfulness becomes more frequent, and the risk of dementia silently increases. I once worked with a man named Robert, 68 years old, who always slept face down. He often woke up feeling confused, forgot where he left his keys, and repeated the same story several times. When we simply adjusted his sleeping position, his symptoms improved within a few weeks, without medication, just through proper information and guidance. Have you ever heard something like this before? That's why understanding what happens in the brain while you sleep is the first step toward protecting it. During the day, your brain works nonstop. It processes thoughts, makes decisions, regulates emotions, and stores memories. But at night, while you sleep, it switches to a different mode, deep cleaning mode. This process is so important that nature created a special system for it, called the glymphatic system. It works like a drainage network that removes impurities from the brain, including toxic proteins and metabolic waste that naturally build up throughout the day. Now imagine what happens if you sleep poorly or in the wrong position. This system becomes blocked, cleaning doesn't occur as it should, and toxins remain circulating, affecting the areas responsible for memory, concentration, and decision-making. One of the most dangerous proteins that accumulates when the glymphatic system fails is beta amyloid, which is closely linked to Alzheimer's disease. What's most concerning is that MRI studies show people who sleep poorly or in improper positions wake up with more beta amyloid in their brains than when they went to bed. I like to compare it to a river. When the water flows freely, everything works fine. But if something blocks the river, it overflows, and what should be clean turns into a problem. This is something I see often in practice. Maria, 72 years old, used to sleep sitting in a recliner because of lower back pain. Over time, she started experiencing worrying memory gaps. When she was helped to sleep on her side with proper support for her spine, she regained the ability to clearly remember her grandchildren's names. Sleeping isn't just resting, it's a natural treatment for your brain. But it only works if your posture allows the glymphatic system to do its job. It's incredible to think that, while you sleep, your brain carries out a real cleaning process. And it's not just a metaphor. It's a physiological process proven by neuroscience. During deep sleep, brain activity slows down and blood vessels slightly contract. This allows the cerebrospinal fluid, a transparent liquid that circulates through the brain and spinal cord, to flow more deeply into brain tissue. This fluid acts like a natural detergent, cleaning the spaces between neurons and flushing away waste, toxic proteins, and residues that can harm brain function if they accumulate. This process is silent but essential, and it depends on two main factors: sleep quality and body position. If you sleep on your back, for instance, the cerebrospinal fluid may have more difficulty circulating, especially if you snore or suffer from sleep apnea. Sleeping face down can compress important structures of the brain. Sleeping on your side, particularly the left side, helps with brain drainage and optimizes this self-cleaning process. A study published in the journal Science showed through imaging that fluid flow in the brain increases significantly during certain sleep phases, especially when a person lies on their side. It's as if the brain takes advantage of that moment to sweep away everything accumulated during the day. I remember a woman named Linda, 70 years old, very active, who complained about a feeling of mental heaviness upon waking. After adjusting not only her sleep schedule, but also her sleeping position, she told me, "My head feels so much lighter now." That's what happens when the brain cleans itself properly. You wake up feeling clearer, sharper, more like yourself. Many of my patients had never heard of the glymphatic system, and maybe you haven't either. But it's one of the most important discoveries about the brain in modern medicine, especially for people over 60. The glymphatic system works like the brain's sewage network, removing toxic waste that accumulates inside brain cells. Its name comes from a combination of glia, the cells that support the brain, and lymphatic, the body's natural cleaning system. In other words, it's the mechanism that keeps your brain clean, working together with the glial cells. But there's a problem. As we age, this system becomes slower and less efficient. The flow of the fluid that cleans the brain decreases, raising the risk of dangerous substances like beta amyloid and tau proteins building up. These substances are directly linked to the development of neurodegenerative diseases, such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And here's a crucial point. Your sleeping position can either help or hinder this system's function. After 60, when the body no longer regenerates as quickly, every detail matters. If the glymphatic flow is already reduced due to age and a person continues to sleep on their back or stomach, brain drainage can be seriously affected. The case of Thomas, a 74-year-old man I once worked with, is a clear example. He came to me complaining about frequent forgetfulness and a feeling of mental fatigue. His cognitive evaluation was normal, but he used to sleep sitting up because of acid reflux. With medical guidance and simple adjustments to the position and height of his bed, we were able to improve his sleeping posture. In just 2 months, he felt more alert and noticed his memory had become more stable. The glymphatic system works quietly, but its effectiveness depends on the choices you make every night before going to sleep. Do you know which sleeping position is the most harmful for the brain? Many people think sleeping on their back is the most neutral position, but that's not entirely true. Let me tell you about what happened with Susan, a lovely 71-year-old woman. Susan came to her appointment with her daughter. She had become more forgetful, repeated questions, and sometimes confused the names of close relatives. Nothing too serious, but enough to worry her family. As we talked, I discovered she always slept flat on her back, with 2 pillows stacked under her head, a habit she'd maintained for over 30 years because it felt comfortable. She had never questioned that choice. But there was more. She snored heavily, woke up several times during the night, and felt groggy in the morning. We explained that sleeping on your back can increase pressure in the airways, leading to snoring and episodes of sleep apnea. These interruptions reduce the amount of oxygen reaching the brain, directly affecting memory and mental clarity. Additionally, this position can slow down the flow of the glymphatic system, which is responsible for cleaning the brain while we sleep. I recommended she try sleeping on her side, placing a pillow between her knees and using proper neck support. The first few days were uncomfortable, of course. Changing a decades-long habit is never easy. But after a few weeks, Susan mentioned that her forgetfulness had decreased. She woke up with more energy and felt more present in conversations with her grandchildren. Sleeping on your back might seem harmless, but it's one of the positions that most interferes with brain oxygenation and the nervous system's cleaning process. It's important to pay attention to how you feel when you wake up. If you notice confusion, mental fatigue, or a sense that you didn't rest well, the problem might be your sleeping posture. Many people tell me that sleeping on their back is the most comfortable position. And in fact, for some people it can be better for the spine, especially if they suffer from hip or shoulder pain. But when we talk about brain health, comfort isn't always the best indicator. Sleeping on your back or in the supine position can involve hidden risks. In this position, the base of the tongue and throat tissues tend to fall backward, especially during deep sleep when the muscles are relaxed. This can partially block the airways, causing loud snoring and even apnea, brief pauses in breathing that interrupt sleep and reduce brain oxygenation. And that's not all. Brain imaging studies show that even though sleeping on your back allows cerebrospinal fluid to flow, the brain's cleaning process can be less efficient, reducing the removal of toxins like beta amyloid. Mr. Edward, a 75-year-old man, always believed this was the most natural sleeping position. However, he often experienced mental fatigue, frequent forgetfulness, and irritability upon waking. A simple sleep study revealed micro-awakenings caused by mild but constant snoring. After switching to a side position and using a pillow to stabilize his body, Edward not only slept better, but also reported a noticeable improvement in his focus and memory. Of course, every case is unique. But if you sleep on your back and wake up tired, or if your partner tells you that you snore a lot, it's worth asking yourself, could comfort be hiding a bigger risk? Observing your sleeping posture, adjusting small details, and seeking proper guidance can help protect what's most valuable, your mind. Sleeping on your stomach is a position many people adopt from a young age. It feels comfortable and gives a false sense of security. However, when it comes to brain circulation and cognitive health, it can be one of the worst choices. When you lie face down, your neck is forced to turn sharply to one side to breathe. That means spending hours with your cervical spine twisted, compressing the vessels that carry blood to the brain. This prolonged rotation can subtly but continuously reduce cerebral blood flow. Over time, it can cause micro-injuries that affect balance, memory, and even emotional stability. I remember the case of Laura, a 66-year-old woman who had always slept with her face turned to the right since she was young. She came to me complaining of morning dizziness and difficulty concentrating. After a postural and vascular assessment, we identified a narrowing of the vertebral artery, worsened by the chronic twisting of her neck during sleep. With physical therapy and a change in position, her symptoms improved significantly. Another important aspect is that when you sleep face down, there's direct pressure on the chest and abdomen, making diaphragmatic breathing more difficult. This affects overall oxygenation and, therefore, brain health, not to mention the impact on the lower back, shoulders, and jaw. Many older adults who sleep on their stomach wake up with headaches, a heavy feeling in the forehead, or neck stiffness, without realizing that the real cause is their sleeping position. That's why, if this is your preferred position, it's worth considering alternatives. Changing might seem difficult at first, but the long-term benefits for your brain and overall well-being are enormous. Few people associate snoring or breathing pauses during sleep with memory loss, but this connection is deep and dangerous. Sleep apnea is more common than most people think, especially after the age of 60, and it can drastically affect mental clarity, concentration, and even mood. Let me share the story of David, a 69-year-old retiree, calm and friendly, who had begun forgetting simple names, appointments, and even important family dates. His wife mentioned that he snored heavily and sometimes seemed to stop breathing for a few seconds during the night. However, David insisted that he slept fine and didn't believe it was affecting his mind. We ordered a sleep study called a polysomnography, and the results were clear: moderate apnea. This means that several times per hour, his brain was left without oxygen for brief moments. Each time this happened, his brain had to wake up quickly to regain control of breathing, fragmenting his sleep, preventing deep rest and disrupting essential cognitive functions such as short-term memory. The good news? With simple adjustments, changing his sleeping position, using a proper pillow, losing a few pounds, and, in some cases, using a device called a CPAP, David regained much of his vitality. Gradually, his memory improved. He even said, "It's like I'm myself again." Sleep apnea is deceptive. Often, people don't even know they have it, but its effects can be devastating. If you snore loudly, wake up with a dry mouth, feel sleepy during the day, or frequently have memory lapses, checking your sleep quality is just as important as caring for your heart. After so many warnings about the risks of sleeping on your back or stomach, the inevitable question arises: what is the best sleeping position to protect your brain? Science has a clear answer on your side. But here comes another common question my patients ask: on which side, left or right? Let's go step by step. Various neuroimaging studies and analyses of glymphatic flow have shown that sleeping on your side, especially on the left side, supports the functioning of the system that cleans the brain. In this position, cerebrospinal fluid circulates more efficiently, helping to remove toxins like beta amyloid more effectively. Additionally, sleeping on the left side offers benefits for the digestive and circulatory systems, particularly for people with reflux or heart problems. The stomach and pancreas are positioned in a way that makes digestion easier and reduces nighttime discomfort. However, for some people, sleeping on the left side can cause discomfort in the hip or shoulder. In these cases, sleeping on the right side is also a safe option, as long as the body is properly supported with pillows between the knees, under the head, and, if necessary, behind the back. A remarkable example is Helen, 70 years old. She suffered from leg swelling and memory lapses upon waking. With small changes, sleeping mainly on her left side, slightly elevating her legs, and maintaining a consistent nighttime routine, her sleep quality and mental clarity improved significantly. There is no perfect sleeping position for everyone, but there is one direction supported by science. Sleeping on your side, with your body properly aligned and well supported, may be one of the best gifts you can give your brain. Have you ever heard that sleeping on your left side is good for the heart? It's true, and it goes far beyond popular sayings. Science now confirms this benefit not only for the heart but also for the brain. Let's see why. The heart is located slightly to the left side of the chest. When you lie on this side, gravity helps Venus return, meaning the blood from your legs and other parts of the body returns to the heart more easily. This more efficient flow improves overall oxygenation, including in the brain. Moreover, sleeping on the left side enhances lymphatic and glymphatic drainage, optimizing the brain's cleaning process during sleep. Studies show that this position improves cerebrospinal fluid flow, allowing toxins related to brain aging and memory loss to be eliminated more effectively. But the benefits don't stop there. Sleeping on the left side also improves digestion. The stomach and large intestine are positioned in a way that makes this posture help food and gas move through more easily, reducing discomfort that could interrupt deep sleep. I remember Michael, a 72-year-old heart patient, who suffered from swelling and mental fatigue upon waking. After switching to sleeping on his left side and using a pillow between his knees, he noticed quick improvement. He began sleeping better, woke up with more energy, and even his blood pressure stabilized. These details may seem small, but in the body of an older adult, every small improvement can mean a huge difference in quality of life. So, if you haven't yet tried sleeping on your left side, maybe it's time to give it a try. Your heart and brain will thank you. Changing sleeping posture may sound simple, but for many older adults, it isn't back, shoulder, hip, or joint pain can make nighttime adjustments difficult. The good news is that with a few small adaptations, it's possible to sleep on your side comfortably and without pain. The first thing I explain to my patients is that the body needs support, not just a good mattress. Sleeping on your side requires the joints to be well aligned, and this only happens if the pillows are used correctly. For example, a pillow between the knees prevents the hips from rotating forward, protecting the lower back. Another pillow under the head should keep the neck aligned with the spine, not too high and not too low. And if you find yourself moving a lot during the night, place a pillow behind your back for gentle support. Teresa, 74 years old, suffered from hip osteoarthritis and used to say that sleeping on her side was impossible. This affects overall oxygenation and, therefore, brain health. Not to mention the impact on the lower back, shoulders, and jaw. Many older adults who sleep on their stomach wake up with headaches, a heavy feeling in the forehead, or stiffness in the neck, without realizing that their sleeping posture is the real cause. That's why, if this is your preferred position, it's worth considering alternatives. Changing might feel difficult at first, but the long-term benefits for your brain and overall well-being are enormous. Few people associate snoring or pauses in breathing during sleep with memory loss, but the connection is deep and dangerous. Sleep apnea is more common than people think, especially after the age of 60, and it can drastically affect mental clarity, concentration, and even mood. Let me tell you about Robert, a 69-year-old retiree, calm and easygoing, who had started forgetting simple names, appointments, and even important family dates. His wife mentioned that he snored heavily and sometimes seemed to stop breathing for a few seconds at night. However, Robert insisted that he slept fine and didn't believe it was affecting his mind. We ordered a sleep study called a polysomnography, and the results were clear: moderate sleep apnea. This means that several times per hour, his brain went without oxygen for a few seconds. Each time this happened, the brain had to wake up briefly to restore breathing control, fragmenting his sleep, preventing deep rest, and affecting essential cognitive functions such as short-term memory. The good news? With simple changes like adjusting his sleeping position, using the right pillow, losing some weight, and in certain cases using a device called a CPAP, Robert regained much of his vitality. Little by little, his memory improved. He said, "It feels like I'm myself again." Sleep apnea is deceptive. Often, people don't even know they have it, but its effects can be devastating. If you snore loudly, wake up with a dry mouth, feel sleepy during the day, or frequently experience memory lapses, checking your sleep quality is as important as taking care of your heart. After all these warnings about the risks of sleeping on your back or stomach, the inevitable question arises: what is the best sleeping position to protect your brain? Science has a clear answer: sleeping on your side. But another frequent question arises among my patients: which side, left or right? Let's take it step by step. Various neuroimaging studies and analyses of the glymphatic flow have shown that sleeping on your side, especially on the left side, supports the functioning of the brain's cleansing system. In this position, cerebrospinal fluid circulates better, helping to eliminate toxins like beta amyloid more efficiently. In addition, sleeping on the left side offers benefits for the digestive and circulatory systems, especially for people with acid reflux or heart issues. The stomach and pancreas are better positioned, making digestion easier and reducing nighttime discomfort. However, for some people, sleeping on the left side can cause discomfort in the hip or shoulder. In these cases, sleeping on the right side is also a safe option, as long as the body is properly supported with pillows between the knees, under the head, and, if necessary, behind the back. A remarkable example is Helen, age 70. She used to wake up with swollen legs and mental fog. With small changes, like sleeping mostly on her left side, slightly elevating her legs, and maintaining a consistent bedtime routine, her sleep quality and mental clarity improved significantly. There isn't one perfect position for everyone, but there is a direction backed by science. Sleeping on your side, with your body properly aligned and supported, can be one of the best gifts you can give your brain. Have you ever heard that sleeping on your left side is good for your heart? It's true, and it goes far beyond popular belief. Science now confirms this benefit not only for the heart, but also for the brain. Let's see why. The heart is slightly to the left side of the chest. When you lie on that side, gravity helps Venus return, meaning that blood from the legs and other parts of the body flows back to the heart more easily. This more efficient flow contributes to better overall oxygenation, including in the brain. In addition, sleeping on the left side promotes lymphatic and glymphatic drainage, optimizing the brain's cleansing process during sleep. Studies show that this position facilitates cerebrospinal fluid flow, helping eliminate toxins linked to brain aging and memory loss more effectively. But the benefits don't stop there. Sleeping on your left side also improves digestion. The stomach and large intestine are positioned in a way that makes digestion smoother and reduces discomfort that could interrupt deep sleep. I remember Richard, a 72-year-old heart patient who suffered from swelling and mental fatigue upon waking. After switching to sleeping on his left side and placing a pillow between his knees, he noticed a quick improvement. He began sleeping better, woke up with more energy, and even saw his blood pressure stabilize. These details might seem small, but for an older person, every minor improvement represents a huge change in quality of life. So, if you haven't tried sleeping on your left side yet, this might be the right time. Your heart and your brain will thank you. Changing your sleeping position might sound simple, but for many older adults, it's not. Back, shoulder, hip, or joint pain can make nighttime adjustments difficult. The good news is that, with a few small adaptations, it's possible to sleep comfortably on your side without pain. The first thing I explain to my patients is that the body needs support, not just a good mattress. Sleeping on your side requires proper joint alignment, and that only happens if pillows are used correctly. For example, a pillow between the knees prevents the hips from rotating forward, protecting the lower back. Another pillow under the head should keep the neck aligned with the spine, not too high, not too low. And if you find yourself moving a lot at night, place a pillow behind your back for gentle support. Teresa, age 74, suffered from hip osteoarthritis and said that sleeping on her side was impossible. But with the right pillow adjustments and proper support, she was able to sleep with less pain and wake up with more energy. With simple pillows and a little guidance, her sleeping posture stopped being a problem and became part of her therapy. The mattress also plays an important role. Mattresses that are too firm put pressure on the shoulders and hips, while those that are too soft don't support the spine. The ideal choice is a medium-density mattress that adapts to the body and distributes weight evenly. If you feel tingling, pain when turning in bed, or stiffness in the morning, those are signs that your current posture is affecting your body and your mind. Don't ignore these signals. Adjusting your sleep habits may be the simplest and most effective step to living with less pain and greater mental clarity.